even know maybe even why you're here to learn about something, but like, somebody cared enough about you to invite you here. I just want you to know that. Because I feel like if they didn't care, they wouldn't have said, hey, listen, you need to tune in and pay attention to this, because I'm 100% in alignment with that. I think this is something that's going to be life-changing for all of us. So let me jump in. Guys, feel free to ask questions as we go. Rhonda's going to be in the comments again today with us, and she's amazing, and a wealth of knowledge as well. So I'm going to get positioned here and we're going to get started. So the very first thing, we have to get some legalese out of the way. But first I want to position today's conversation. And it's about a massive shift that is happening, I would say, right under most people's noses. It's not about crypto or video calls or even AI alone. It's about a fundamental change. And before we jump in, though, I got to give the usual grown-up disclaimers. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not promising you yachts or Lambos. This is basically for education and exploration, et cetera, et cetera. But I did want to obviously highlight a couple of things. You're not, like I said, no financial advice, no wild promises, no get rich quick schemes. We absolutely want you to do your own research. And we do provide a lot of information for educational purposes. The nodes and blockchains are governed by the DGF, the Distributed Governance Framework. And that's kind of all the legal stuff, the fine print, if you will, but legal said I have to say it. So, moving on. So the next thing, again, playing that, like, what if, like, right? We'll play this game of what if. What if you could go back in time and own a piece of the internet? Like, would now, again, knowing what we know, right? We would all say heck to the yes to that. Of course we would. We would jump in. Well, today's shift is just as big, but this time you actually can participate early in the battleground. It's video conferencing. So now stay with me, because you may think, video conferencing, what does that have to do with anything? But I'm going to walk you through how these technologies are converging to create a $1 trillion opportunity that most people aren't even talking about yet. We're standing at the edge of something massive, and I'm excited to show you why this matters and how you can position yourself ahead of the wave. So by the end of this presentation, you're going to understand exactly why this presentation or why this shift is worth $1 trillion, and more specifically, why it matters to you. So let's take a walk down regret lane for just a second. And this is basically about, sorry, I have a frog. This is all about, like, looking at maybe opportunities that came that we didn't see. We've all seen something that pops up new, like it's new and it pops up and we roll our eyes, and then 10 years later, bam, it's like it's the thing, and it's accepted. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's using it. Remember when people laughed at Uber? Like, seriously, who's going to get in a stranger's car? Like, Mama taught us that, we don't get in strangers' cars. Or, thought the concept of Airbnb was like ridiculous. Like, who's going to come and stay in my home, or why would I go stay in their home? Or I have got a great one. I remember back in the Zappos days when Zappos first launched, and I'm like, there is absolutely no way that women are going to buy shoes sight unseen or untried on, and have them delivered. Like, that's not going to happen. I thought it was the stupidest idea ever, and yet look at us now. Like, right? So fast forward, these companies disrupted entire industries. That's the key here. And what I want you to understand is, because this is where we are again. And if you missed the last wave, let's be honest, we all know someone who said, I should have bought Apple stock, or I should have mined Bitcoin in 2010. That someone might even be you, because it's certainly me. But here's the thing, that pain of missing out, it's actually fuel. It wakes us up, and it's not too late unless you stay on the sidelines again. Imagine this, if every virtual meeting you hosted, like, we all use virtual tools these days, virtual meeting tools and specifically, but what if still use them, but they're helping build your future. What would that look like? Would that make life different for you, right? So if you're already getting that little tingly feeling like, oh, this could be really big, I want you to drop an I'm in the chat. Let's see who's showing up for their future today. So just drop that I am. I'm just curious about who's in and is all in. So let me explain a little bit about why I'm excited about this opportunity. So I have been in the quote unquote online space for many, many years. 34-ish, basically. I'm dating myself tremendously when I say that. So I have been around all the major shifts since the early days of the internet. You know, I remember my first business. I built seven-figure online businesses, and my first business was web design. And back then, it was like you know, you got to have a website in 5 years or you're going to be out of business. Social media came along. And again, same thing. I've always leaned into the next big thing. Social media came along. I jumped in. Live video came along. I jumped in. I've always been an early adopter of all the next levels of the next thing, if you will. And so when I was introduced to this blockchain thing, and I remember Darren Kidd called me up, and he's been a friend and a client for years. And he's like, listen, Kim, I want you to come with me to Puerto Rico. I want you to listen in on this and see if this is of interest to you. And I'm like, okay. Some of the terminology he was using, like nodes, like you know, inflamed nodes, like, you know, when you go to the doctor. He's like, no, not like that. So a lot of it sounded like gobbledygook to me because I just didn't know it yet, you know. And that may be you as you're going through today, but I promise we're going to like make it simple and you're going to get it. But the revolution that I really, or the revelation that I had was, wow, this is absolutely the next big thing. And specifically this platform, which is why I've been so excited and ultimately why I'm leaning in so hard to this opportunity. And I think you will see the same thing as we go through this, because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. But every game-changing innovation follows this same, I'll call it a 3-act play. First, people kind of laugh at it. I mean, remember, like we laughed at Uber a little bit, like that's not going to happen. And then the powers that be kind of fight it. You know, there's some violently opposed models going on here. And then finally it becomes the obvious choice. And that is where blockchain is today. And I think for those of us who understand the vision for this, I think the vision is going to get much clearer and bigger as we go throughout this presentation today. But before we go any further, let's clear the air on just a few things that are probably floating around in the back of your mind, because these are, I think, lies that are keeping a lot of people from taking action when, you know, you see the opportunity. Maybe you think that video conferencing is saturated because, like, well, let's be real, Zoom already won, right? Like, if you think that, or Teams is everywhere, or there's no room left. But here's the truth, and this is one of the things you're going to pick up on. I'm going to say it over and over again. Those platforms are built on yesterday's model. They're centralized, they exploit your data, and they don't share a single cent with the people keeping them alive. Our isn't competing with them. It's replacing the entire foundation with something that gives you a stake in this ownership. So it's not saturated. It's about to be disrupted, just like Uber and some of the other examples I've given you. Line number 2 is only coders or crypto experts can profit from blockchain. You know, I think a lot of times the new tech revelations are always, and to be fair, usually a lot of tech-related people, you know, people that are tech-minded, jump on those opportunities first. But this one really holds people back a lot. You know, when you hear the word blockchain, that may sound like, oh my gosh, it's super techy. I don't know. Is that for me? In fact, you may be thinking it's not for me. But Arlink is different. You don't need to mine tokens. You don't need to write code. You don't even need to understand how blockchain works behind the scenes. The technology is doing the work. Your role is simply participation. If you click, join, and share, you get rewarded for it. It's not about being technical. It's about being early and seeing the opportunity and taking action on the opportunity. And maybe you think, well, it's too late to get in early. Again, another classic and a misnomer. We tell ourselves this story every time something new comes along because we've been burned before. Let's be real. But here's the deal. Timing doesn't just matter. It's absolutely everything. Our link is in an early adoption right now. We just launched in September. It's something we already use, so it's not like it's new. Our is the first ever blockchain video conferencing tool. It's growing, but the economic engine behind it, that is still wide open. So getting in now is like owning a piece of YouTube before it was YouTube. So if any of those lies were echoing around in your head, it's time to like set them aside and understand that this does actually, this is the next big wave. So let's talk numbers for a second. Video conferencing is a $95 billion market with a B. And right now, 100% of that value goes to, you guessed it, big tech. It lines somebody else's pocket. You, the user, are getting exactly 0% of that pie. You're the one showing up, hosting meetings, creating the value, and yet you get nada. Let's change that up. Who can say heck to the yes on that, right? It's time to change this up. Big tech built their empires by owning the infrastructure and giving you the free tools. We think they're free, right? Because we don't, in some cases, don't pay for these tools. But they are actually monetizing you, your data, your meetings, your time. That's the model. And spoiler alert, it wasn't built for your benefit. Even though you think, oh, these tools are amazing, I'm able to do X, Y, Z with them, but you are the product. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more. And this, when you first see this quote, it's a little brutal, but it's honest. Mark Zuckerberg once said, they trust me, dumb, bad words. Not exactly the customer appreciation that we would like when it comes to Facebook, right? Or Meta, I guess they call it now. Now, whether he said this in a moment of arrogance or was just, Silicon Valley swagger, the takeaway is, I think, crystal clear. It's platforms like Facebook and others. They don't see us as partners. They don't see us as they see us as data sources, clicks to monetize, assets to leverage. And guess what, y'all? We've let them. We've played along. We've given away our privacy, our behavioral data, even our business conversations, because we've never been offered a better option. It's been the status quo until now. And I think that's why this is so incredibly powerful. So let's we'll take a little trip down memory lane. I'll call it digital memory lane. Remember, like Web 1.0 was like the dinosaur days. You dial up and you wait forever, and you read those static pages and hope that nobody picks up the phone and kills your conversation. This was again before cell phones. So it's like that sounds like smoke signals right now, right? It's like that is so old school, so yesterday. And then we had Web 2.0 ushered in social media, video platforms, and collaboration tools. And that sounds like progress, right? But here's the catch. It all became centralized. A few tech giants started building walls around their little playgrounds and charging admission and ultimately making millions and billions of dollars. And then along comes Web 3.0, and most businesses are just starting to dip their toes into Web 3.0. There's still many that aren't even dipping their toes in. But it's based around user-owned infrastructure powered by blockchain. This is where things are starting to shift. And by the way, this shift is going to be norm at some point. Just like early days of social media, I remember people, I'll go back all the way to my early days of web design. And I remember people saying, nobody's ever going to put their credit cards in. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, how am I going to sell stuff online? And now look at us, right? So my point is that Web 3.0 is here. A lot of people aren't paying attention to it, but it is here. And now it's your opportunity to pay attention, to wake up and smell the roses. Because enter the R-Link era. It's the natural next step in this evolution. Decentralized video conferencing that's privacy first, rewards participants, and is built with an economic model that actually includes you and rewards you. So it's not just innovation. This is going to be revolutionary. It is going to just be disruptive. It's going to disrupt a lot of status quo business models. And the best part, you stand to be in that mix and be ahead of that curve. So for those of us that are old enough to remember most of these things, like remember we started out with like Skype, and the grainy video and the constant, can you hear me now moments. It seemed like it was amazing at the time, like, right? I mean, who remembers Skype? And then along came GoToWebinar, and GoToWebinar was really the only webinar platform for the longest time. But it was, clunky, not exactly built for engagement. And then we got Zoom and Google Meet and Teams. They improved usability and I would say made video meetings a daily thing, right? Zoom in particular has become the norm, the daily norm. But they also doubled down on the centralized control. More features, yep, but the same business model. You use it, they profit from it. So now we're standing at the next clear evolution, R-Link. It's not just another video platform. It's the first built on the blockchain, designed to shift power and value back to the people who actually use it. You've already made each leap in the timeline. The question is, will you make this one while the advantage is still early? Because whether you move now or later, I told somebody this the other day. I said, you can decide that this is for you now, or you're going to hear about us in 6 months and you're going to be on board. That's just where we are. We are not loyal to Zoom. We're not loyal to Google Meet. Nobody cares where we meet. But can you imagine if you had a meeting place that actually rewarded you for using it? Yeah, there's going to be some loyalty to that, right? There's going to be some brand loyalty. And that's where we are today. That's what the opportunity that we're talking about. And this is where things get really exciting. So let's break it down. In the traditional model, we all know this one thing, like, you use the platform, they profit from it. We've talked about that already. You already understood it. You just accepted it. You host the meetings, you bring the people, you generate the value, and the platform, it just cashes the check. Zoom, Teams, Meet, they're all built on this model. But with R-Link, the equation flips. Instead of just being a user, you are actually invited to be a part of the infrastructure. You're not helping build someone else's empire. You're helping build a shared one. And the kicker? You actually get rewarded for doing it. That's the transformation that blockchain brings. It decentralizes ownership. So now instead of sending your value up to the top, you keep a piece of what you help create. But what if the next Zoom was built by us, not just for us? R-Link says that that's not hypothetical. That's our plan. That's our plan, is to build an ecosystem that is owned by the people and for the people. You've heard how R-Link flips the old big tech model, but we didn't just stop there. We turned it into a blueprint, something anyone can plug into without needing tech skills, blockchain knowledge, or startup capital. This is what we call the R-Link participation flywheel. You've probably heard the concept of a flywheel before. In our case, it's a simple 3-step system. You use the platform. Every time you host or join a meeting, you're contributing. You can power it if you run a Rally node. You're helping the system stay fast, stable, and secure. Or you can own it by holding Rally tokens. You step beyond being a user and into shared ownership. And here's the kicker. Every step adds momentum. The more people use it, power it, and own it, the faster this entire system grows. And that's the power of the flywheel. This isn't just hype. This is force multiplied over time. So use, power, own, that's the new game. And it's built to include everyone and not just those early insiders. So introducing R-Link, we've talked a little bit about it, a little around it, but let's dig into what it is. The first video conferencing platform that doesn't treat your data like an all-you-can-eat buffet. So we're a privacy-first platform. No digital peeping toms. Your meetings stay yours. In other words, there's no data sharing or selling with other big entities. Your data is yours. It is business ready, not just awkward virtual happy hours. We've packed in marketing tools, AI features, and customization that doesn't require a computer science degree. And then the kicker, and this is where I think we really shine, you earn Rally tokens every time you use it. These aren't just cute digital, fake things. They're actual rewards that can grow in value as the expands. So instead of just feeding the Zoom machine, you're finally getting a slice of the pie that you helped bake. Welcome to video conferencing that actually works for you instead of against you. Is everybody seeing it on the screen? It seems to be spinning for me. Oh, there it is. Okay. It took a minute for it to pop up for me. So just wanted to make sure it wasn't delayed for you guys as well. So 3 simple ways to get involved. First, you can use our link at the platform. It's secure, it's private, and way more rewarding than your typical Zoom call. Second, you can own a rally node. This is where the magic happens. You help power the network, and yep, you get rewarded for it. And third, hold R-Link tokens. Get in early on the world's first tokenized video platform. So whether you want to participate, own, or invest in the future, there's a seat for you at the table. But here's the R-Link difference, just super plain and simple. With R-Link, you're not just using the platform, you're helping run it. You actually earn tokens when people use it, yes, even from referrals. And instead of renting tech you'll absolutely never own, you become part of the infrastructure. So this isn't big tech 2.0, it's ownership for the people actually building the network. And the real cost of, I will call it inaction, because inaction isn't free. Every meeting that you host, it builds their platform, not yours. Every Zoom call, more of your data is flowing into their system and you stay on the outside looking in. And every single month that you wait, that's big tech getting richer while you're still footing the bill with zero, like I'm going to say it again, zero reward. Bottom line, every day you spend on Zoom or any of the other competitors out there is another day that your data makes someone else rich. It's like bringing all the food to a potluck and, leaving hungry. So let's stop feeding the machine and start building something that we actually benefit from. Who's in? Does that sound awesome, right? But let's demystify a couple of things. We've talked a lot about nodes. Like you've heard the term node throughout the course. I've said it a couple of times now, but what the heck is it, right? And I know, it sounds super techy. Like I said before, it's not something the doctor finds when when you go in for a checkup. A Rally node is just software that you install and host. Most of us hosted in the cloud. That's it. It connects to the R-Link blockchain and helps process and secure data as people use the platform. So think of it like setting up a little digital helper that runs in the background, and every time someone has a meeting, your node helps out and you get rewarded for it. And the best part is you don't have to be techie. You don't need to code. You don't even need to know what a blockchain is, and the software handles the heavy lifting. You set it up once and then it quietly earns for you moving forward. But I still feel like when I first started with this, I'm like, okay, I still don't get it. So I'm going to give you a couple of metaphors here. Imagine a big old digital highway. So like when I lived in Florida, there were toll roads everywhere, right? So every time a car drives, through these toll booths, they pay a toll. Now, swap that for cars for video meetings. And instead of spare change, those tolls are paid in Rally tokens. So when you own a Rally node, it's like owning one of those toll booths. Meetings flow through the network, your node processes that traffic, and boom, you collect Rally tokens. And here's the best part, you don't have to be in the meetings. You can earn rewards even when you're not actively using the platform. It's passive participation with a purpose, and you're no longer just a user, you're a collector of rewards. But one more metaphor, again, I really struggled a little bit, like, what is this node concept again? So for all those visual learners in the room, I think this is a good one. Think about cell phone towers. Telecom companies pay landowners every single month just to put their towers on someone else's land. Why? Well, one, because they need the space and they don't want to pay for all the land, right? They just need a little bit of it. So the landowner, they just sit back and collect the check from the telecom company. Now swap that tower for a rally node. Our-Link needs infrastructure. You provide that space digitally, that word is like not really off my tongue. And in return, you get paid for that. You get rewarded for that. It's the same win-win model. They need it, you've got it, and you get rewarded for simply providing it. You're not just watching the future of communication unfold, you're literally powering it. It's like owning a slice of the system that everybody's already using. Like I said before, we're all already using video conferencing tools. So here's the best part though, this whole owning a node thing, it's not just for tech wizards or crypto buddies. You don't need to code. The software is user friendly, made for real people, not engineers. You don't need fancy hardware. Most folks, like I said before, just use a simple cloud provider, like renting a little virtual shelf to run your node. And once it's set up, that's it. You're done. Your node runs quietly in the background, helping power the R-Link network and earning you rewards 24/7. You're not just along for the ride. Again, you own a slice of the pie. And right now let me back up for a second. One, hopefully now you know what a node is and understand it at least at a baseline, and that it doesn't take a tech degree to run one. So let's talk about why this actually matters to you. Big tech isn't winning by accident. They've built a system so they always win, and we just keep showing up, paying the bill. But that's about to change. I'm about to reveal 3 secrets the video giants really don't want us to know. And once you see them, you won't look at your Zoom calls the same way ever again. Like I said before, once you see this, you can't unsee it. So let's start with secret number 1, and it's a game changer. And once you see it, you can't, like I said, you just can't unsee it. This chart says it all. Zoom and other big tech platforms make billions of dollars, y'all, billions of dollars. And I'm saying they make it, meaning they profit, not just make it, meaning that's not just net, that is profit on the backside of our usage. But how much of that do you own? How much do you get from it? So look at these slivers. You've got platform revenue, which is that big yellow pile there. You've got some shareholder value. You've got executive bonuses. Wait, user rewards? User ownership? There's none of that there, right? So they build billion-dollar platforms on our usage, and they give you zero ownership, zero rewards, and guess what? You get zero say. Again, time for that dynamic to actually shift. But you've seen the data. Now here's the loop. You host, they monetize, and you walk away with zip. Sound familiar? Yeah, right? It is time to break the cycle. I want to hear an amen in the comments. So here's how R-Link flips the script. It shares rewards with the people who actually make it work. If you use the platform, you earn tokens. You host a meeting, you get rewarded. You run a node, you're helping power the network, and you get daily token rewards for it. This isn't just lip service; it's real ownership. Real ownership built into the system from the ground up. Thanks for, I'm going to take a quick sip here, guys. I think my tongue is getting a little stuck to the roof of my mouth there. Try saying all this stuff fast and furious. It gets a little hectic. So imagine, and I really want you to sit in this for a second. I want you to imagine that every single video meeting that you host, every event, every session someone joins that passes through your node is actually growing the network, and you're the one getting rewarded for it. What would that look like? Not big tech, not some executive you've never met, you. Because when the network wins, you win. That's the new model, and I think it's long overdue. And feel free to jump in at any point with what, like, if you're like, heck to the yes, girl, say it, or an amen, or whatever. You know, I feel like we're at a place where this is so revolutionary and so much of a shift that it's exciting, right? It's exciting to think that this could be a differentiator, a disruptor. And it's not just, it could be, it is. We are here. So, all right, let's move into secret number 2, and this one's a juicy one. Think about every platform that you use every day. Zoom, Slack, Instagram. You use them, but you don't own a single byte of them. And I say byte with a B-Y-T-E. Haha. A little funny there. But what if that changed? What if you could actually own part of the infrastructure behind the platform while everyone else just uses it? Like, right? That's what makes our link different. It's not just a tool. Again, it's an opportunity to own the system. We can't own, we don't have any ownership in Zoom. I would assume most of us don't. We're not shareholders, right? But here's where secret number 2 gets super real. Let's call it what it is. You power the platform, they keep the profit. Big Tech's model is built on your contribution, your meetings, your data, your time. It's what makes these platforms valuable. And yet 99% of the upside goes to the handful of execs and shareholders. You're doing 100% of the legwork, but getting 0% of the return. It's a one-way value street. You work, they win. And the longer you stay in their system, the more wealth you help them create. But again, our link flips that. You get to benefit from the growth of the platform that you're helping to power. Let me show you exactly how this cycle plays out, because once you see it, you're going to spot it everywhere. And this isn't just us comparing ourselves to Zoom and other competitors. This is a model that's pretty much across the board when it comes to tools that we use on the daily. You create the value, they capture your data, shareholders collect the profit, the cycle continues. And it all starts with your content. But here's the twist. What if us collectively built a platform where that cycle worked in your favor? Wouldn't that be pretty amazing? And I want to pause on this for a second. I talked about it, and I've referenced it, the amount of money that the big tech companies are making. And we're going to just talk about Zoom for a second. Zoom made $3.4 billion last year. Now, when I say they made this was pure profit. This is not their net, this is their profit. They made $3.4 billion in revenue, and guess what you and I made? We made nothing. We showed up for the meetings, we hosted the calls, we brought the people in, and yet we got nothing. We weren't even offered a slice of the pie. And I think this is a mic drop moment for why we need something different. You help build their success, and it's time you get a platform that builds yours as well. Right? Why this opportunity is so critical right now, and why timing isn't just a detail. It's the whole difference between being the one who watches others win or being the one who actually wins. So like Bitcoin, there is a fixed number of rally nodes. Once they're gone, that's it. Nada, no more. Early adopters get the biggest rewards, and the earlier you get in, the more you earn as the network grows. If you wait too long, the curve begins to flip and the opportunity starts to shrink. So you don't want to watch this. You don't want to watch this pass you by, for sure, because it's a small. There is a window of opportunity here that is here right in this moment. So we've covered ownership. We talked about that. We've covered timing. Let's talk about how our link flips the model and puts power back into the hands of real people. But what if I told you it's not just about ownership, it's about leverage? Because this next part, it's where the platform becomes the revenue machine. This is secret number 3, and it's a big one. What if every meeting didn't just communicate, but actually converted? So let me show you how AI is turning conversations into conversions right within your video calls. So our link goes from cool tech to business game changer in a hot second. And honestly, this was one of the very first eye-opening moments for me when I first took a look at this opportunity, and why I was so excited about it, because I've been in the online space for years and years, and I'm a marketer to the bone. So when I saw the ability to host meetings where I could convert right inside of the meeting, I'm like, where do I sign up? I want to be a part of this. Most platforms today are built to help you talk, right? I mean, that's what we're using Zoom and Google Meet and some of the others for. But our link, it's built to help you sell. Whether you're a coach, a consultant, a creator, or closing high-ticket offers, this is going to be your dream team. We have AI-powered translation. That means that you can instantly reach a global audience. You can speak in English, connect in Spanish, French, Japanese. In fact, if you go up and click on the view and go down to translation, you'll see those captions at the bottom of your screen right now. Right now, they're going to show up in English, but you can click on that little drop down button and change it to any language that's available there. And you'll start seeing captions that are in Japanese or Chinese or whatever language you choose. We also have clickable on-screen CTAs that let you turn your live conversation into a conversion right inside the meeting. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. And we obviously have a virtual branded environment that lets you host meetings that feel like your brand, not just another Zoom box. So this isn't just video conferencing. This is a conversion engine with a camera. So let me show you a couple of these. So let's say you had a physical product that you wanted to highlight, right? You could pop it up on the screen while you're talking, and you could have somebody click on that link. It is a clickable link, y'all, and go and purchase that particular product. Let's say you wanted to highlight a product line that you had. Again, same thing. Maybe you have a best-selling line. These are links that people can, you're hosting your meeting and all of a sudden, oh yeah, let me pull this up and you can go and buy it right here, right in the moment. Or let's say you wanted to just highlight a variety of products and services that you have at the top of your screen. Or let's say you're a real estate agent and you're talking with someone on a meeting, and you're like, well, here's one of our properties. Why don't you book a private showing today? Can you see how this changes the game, y'all? And these are just a few of the examples of how the platform actually helps you convert in the moment. You can share resources. You can pull in websites. There is so much functionality. No more boring Zoom calls. Can I get a hallelujah, right? So again, this is a true game changer. And this is, I think, the heart of secret number 3. Most platforms help you talk, have meetings, share ideas, collaborate. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But OurLink, it's designed to help you sell. Every meeting becomes a moment of action, not just let's follow up, but let's go right now. Your offer pops up on the screen. People can click without leaving the call, and boom, conversation turns into conversion in that moment. It's built for business owners who are tired of leaking sales in their DMs. Some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, right now, right? But let me show you what this looks like out in the wild. Not theory, but built-in reality. The OurLink money-making magic really happens in 3 core steps. Your offer appears exactly when minds are ready. While you're dropping value bombs, your offer slides in onto the screen right when interest peaks. No awkward, let me send you something later, or, let me share my screen. There's none of that. They click and buy without escaping while their interest is hot. No new tabs, I'll check it out later. No momentum killers. They take action right there in the heat of the moment. So 0 tech stack headaches. Everything is built in. You're not having to do a whole lot of heavy lifting. It's not a meeting platform with sales features bolted on. It's a sales machine disguised as a video call. So while everyone else is ending with thanks for coming, you're counting new clients or sales before you even hit end meeting. That sounds pretty amazing, right? So now imagine this. You're running your usual meeting, coaching, selling, whatever your thing is. But when it wraps up, 2 amazing things just happened. You close deals right there in the meeting. You earn tokens just for existing, whether you hosted, you attended, or you're letting your node do its thing. You got rewarded for being a part of the system. That's the OurLink magic, combining actual business results with automatic network rewards. You're not just choosing between making an impact or making money. Guess what? You're doing both simultaneously. And that is a pretty powerful thing. So this is the moment that we connect all the dots. Yes, OurLink is built on blockchain. Yes, it is decentralized, secure, and rewards users. But it's more than just another Web 3.0 project. This is Business 3.0. Because OurLink isn't just giving you access to tech, it's giving you access to ownership. Not just smarter meetings, but smarter economics. Not just AI features, but actual built-in ways to grow your business in real time. So this isn't about watching 3.0 happen from the sidelines. It's about stepping up and into a new class of tools where your activity has real value and you're no longer just a user, you're a part of the engine. Business 3.0 means you don't just use the platform, you are the platform. And it's about darn time, right? Okay, we've talked about the problem, we've shown you the solution, and now it's time for the fun part. How do you actually get in on this? Like, what? There's basically three core ways, three simple paths. And I promise no advanced degree required. You can just use the platform, switch your boring video calls to Arlink. Every meeting earns you tokens. Same function, totally different outcome. You can own a rally node, digital real estate without the property taxes. Your node helps power the network while depositing tokens in your account. No coding, no tech hassles, or no tech headaches even. You can also hold rally tokens, the hands-off approach, own a piece of the ecosystem, and position yourself for growth as more people wake up and join the platform. So use it, own it, hold it, whatever floats your boat, really. And the perfect time to jump in is while everyone else is still clicking the join meeting on platforms that give them exactly nothing in return. Let's be real. This whole Web 3.0 nodes, tokens, things might still sound like, like you're trying to assemble IKEA furniture in the dark. Like, right? I don't know about you, but I bought a few IKEA things, and I'm like, I know there's directions, but they're super convoluted, and I just try to do it without the directions. But here's the truth of it: you are not doing this solo. We have built Arlink to be human friendly, even if the tech behind it is rocket science smart. We have step-by-step everything, no tech degree required. We walk you through it all like your most patient friend. Simple instructions, zero geek speak, I promise. Community that actually cares, not another ghost town forum where your questions echo into eternity. We have real people, real answers, real fast, and a lot of people who are involved in this ecosystem because we're all owners. We are very seriously invested in this, and we're seriously supportive of one another. Training that makes sense. We're not tossing you the keys and wishing you luck. We're giving you the roadmap, the GPS, and riding shotgun until you're comfortable with this. This isn't some faceless tech platform. We're building this together, and you're not just a user, you're the foundation. We're all a foundational piece of this whole thing. And because when you win, the platform wins, and that's what makes this ultimately yours. At this point, you might be wondering, okay, but how is Arlink really different from Zoom, Teams, Meet, or any other platform I've used? So I'm going to just break it down and make it super simple. Well, first, we're decentralized. Arlink isn't owned by a single company. It's powered by its users. This means that there is no central authority, no data siphoning, and no silent profit machine behind the curtain. We also have a built-in reward system. Every time you use the platform or help power it with a node, you earn rally tokens. And this isn't a gimmick. It's a share in the value that you help create. And we have AI-powered conversion tools, clickable CTAs, in-meeting offers, automated translations. Everything is designed to help you not just meet, but move your business forward right inside the call. We're absolutely privacy first by default. No creepy data mining, no selling your information, no, oops, we accidentally shared your meeting with the internet emails. And 5, you actually own a piece of it. Whether you run a node or hold tokens, you're not just using the system, you're a part of the ecosystem, and that means you're positioned to benefit as it grows. So yes, there are other video platforms out there, but there's only one that's refining how we connect, build, and earn at the same time. So this isn't just a better meeting tool, it's a better business model, and one that we stand to own a part of. This is the part most people skip, then kick themselves later. Right now, the chance to own a piece of Arlink through Rally nodes is wide open, but not for long. There's a fixed number of nodes available, and this is by design. This isn't an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's an exclusive ecosystem where early players get rewarded. The cold truth is the network is growing faster than gossip in a small town. Yes, we are growing at an exceedingly fast rate. Like I said, we just launched in September. Adoption is picking up at a serious speed, and that early bird advantage is evaporating on the daily. We've seen this movie before in crypto, in tech, in every major shift out there. Early movers don't just win, they help write the rules of the game. You can absolutely wait. Just know that the window to get in before everyone else realizes what's happening, well, it's shrinking faster than than that wool sweater you threw in hot water in the dryer. And like I say, this isn't pressure; it's positioning before everything. Before this becomes the thing everyone knew about, but somehow missed, like some of those early things that we talked about before, things that you just didn't see and you wished you had of. Let's talk about early. In every major shift, internet, crypto, apps, name it. The biggest winners weren't the careful waiters, the people who just kind of hung back. They were the people who jumped in while everyone else was still saying, but what is it exactly? I remember when Periscope first launched. Y'all remember Periscope wasn't the first live video app out there. I guess Meerkat was. But Periscope quickly became the leading one, right? Until Facebook jumped into the fray and some of the others did as well. But I didn't sit on the sidelines and wait. I jumped in, and it was uncomfortable. I didn't know what I was doing, but I jumped in because I thought it was the next big thing. So first movers don't just win, they write the rules of the game. With R-Link, this means, you get prime real estate at that early phase. You get in before the rush and enjoy more traffic through your node, more tokens in your account. Your golden ticket is that growing network. As new users flood in, they're going to rely on your infrastructure. That's not just cool; it's profitable. And then loaded up with this, you're going to be front loaded on rewards because these systems reward builders more than joiners. So early node operators get the fastest slice of the token pie, and that's just math. This isn't about bragging rights. It's about positioning yourself before everyone and their cousin jumps in. And most people don't miss opportunities because they're not smart enough. They miss out because they wait for perfect timing that really never comes, because they don't just need a little more proof, because they hesitate just long enough to miss everything. Making a move when something early takes guts. It's way more comfortable to wait until everyone's doing it. And here's the truth bomb. By the time it feels safe, the massive opportunity has already left the building. We saw it with the internet. We saw it with Bitcoin, Uber, Airbnb. The early birds didn't just catch the worm. They built entire bird empires, y'all. You don't need to bet your life savings, but you do need to recognize when a shift is happening and decide if you want to be in the story or just reading about it later. For me, yep, I'm going to be in the story. The deja vu moment, though, we've all been here before, right? Like the moment when something new appears. You feel it, you sense it, and you see it's different, and you think, maybe I should. And then what? You wait. Not because you doubt the potential, but because you're wondering if the timing is right. And, this is that moment. Every tech wave has this exact turning point. Web 1.0, email. Who needs it? Meanwhile, early builders became today's tech titans. I remember in the early days, AOL, you've got mail, and how exciting that was, right? Now, email, the devil. And then Web 2.0, social media seemed silly until everyone was scrolling 5 hours daily. I mean, everybody thought, MySpace, right, was like, oh, that's just for kids. Or I was one of those people who said Facebook was, just for kids, until I saw it and realized it was like B2B boards. I'm dating myself seriously here, on steroids. But the point is, while most people are still saying maybe someday, early adopters are already building wealth in the 3.0 space. Now, we're at that same curve with R-Link. This is precisely where most people freeze and miss everything. But you're here. You're early, and your choice is simple. You can wait until it's crowded and closed, or jump in while the big advantages are still in existence. Again, I'm not saying all this to pressure you. This is permission to move, to lead, to own a piece before everyone else finally gets it. So here we are. You've seen what's broken, you've seen what's possible, and you've seen exactly how you can play a role in building what's next. So the question isn't, can you do this? It's, will you? Now, here's the truth. You don't need to build the platform. You don't need to create tech. You don't even need to learn to be an expert. You just need to recognize the shift and decide if you want to be on the front end of it instead of looking back later and saying, yep, I saw it. I even looked into it, but I waited and I missed it. We've all had those moments before. And this time, you're not only early, you're informed, you're in the room, but it's just about choosing to move while it still matters. And I think that is the decision you have to embrace right now. You may be wondering, well, what do I do next? If I'm in and this all sounds amazing, I don't want to be left behind. Don't overthink it. This isn't complicated. You've got 3 clear steps to get started with our link. 1, you can try the platform. I highly recommend that you at least do this. Use our link for your next video call, coaching session, webinar, or beanie. Experience the difference. You're going to see it quickly. You're going to see that this isn't just a new platform, it's a smarter one. You can also claim your Rally node or our link tokens. If you're ready to go beyond using the platform and actually own a part of it, this is your move. Claim a node or grab tokens. This is your stake in the infrastructure of what's next. Or you can join the community. This is more than a tech platform. It's a movement. We're about impacting and disrupting existing models out there. So when you join the R-Link ecosystem, you're surrounded by other creators, innovators, and early adopters. People like you, ready to build, lead, and win together. So again, this isn't about taking a huge leap. It's about taking one small intentional step toward the future you already believe in. And now, guess what? You've got the tools, you've got the timing, and you've got the advantage. The only thing left is, what will you do with it? This is the moment. We're in the middle of a $1 trillion shift, and most people won't even realize it until it's already over. So the real question is simple. Will you be the infrastructure that powers the future of video communication? Or will you look back again and say, dang it, I saw it coming, but I didn't move? You don't need to build a tech company. You don't need to create an app. You just need to show up early and say yes while the doors are still open. Because this time around, you don't just get to use the platform, you get to own a piece of it. And you've heard me say that quite frequently, but I want to break it down when it comes to node ownership a little bit, because here's what you're really walking away with. A node is a lifetime license. This means you own a permanent piece of the network, no subscriptions, no renewals, just locked in early ownership. You also get a simple setup process. It's plug and play. If you can follow a recipe or assemble IKEA furniture, maybe minus the tiers, you can absolutely do this. And you also get an exclusive community. You're not just doing this alone. You're joining a group of early adopters who saw it and who are here to grow with you and help you grow. We also have ongoing support, weekly sessions, real-time updates, and early access to new features. You're part of shaping what this is going to become. So let's get real for a second. What would it actually cost to get in on an opportunity like this anywhere else? Let's say, blockchain consulting. You're like, I know blockchain's the next thing, but I don't know where to start. So I'm going to get me some consulting. Well, that's going to cost you about $10K, and that's just for advice, not ownership. Okay, startup equity. If you're lucky, it's high risk, long waits, no guarantees. Maybe as infrastructure, it's like a subscription treadmill, though. It's expensive licenses, constant overhead. Now compare all that to a Rally node, which is a fraction of the cost. And guess what? You actually own part of the network, not a suggestion, not a theory, ownership baked into the tech. It's accessible, it's scalable, it's built for people who are ready to participate, not just pay. Let's talk timing again, because this opportunity isn't just limited, it's moving. Right now, you can lock in your price before the next jump. The current tier is not going to last. There's a dynamic pricing model, so every 100 nodes that are sold means the price goes up by $100. The earlier you jump in, the more you save. In fact, the price will be the cheapest today because it is absolutely going up. In fact, I think it's getting ready to take another jump. And because nodes are placed sequentially on the blockchain, this is a time-sensitive opportunity. So a blockchain is a singular line. Early nodes hold more strategic positioning as the network scales out. But bottom line, early adopters don't just use the platform, they're positioned to grow with it. So if you're thinking, I'll wait, I know this sounds great, but waiting costs you more. And you may still be feeling like, okay, well, this sounds amazing, but I'm still a little fearful. I'm not techie. We've got you. This setup takes just 20 minutes. Seriously, you'll spend more time scrolling Instagram today. It's plug and play, no crypto, no coding, no tech headaches. If you can click buttons, you can run a node. And you're not alone. You'll get step-by-step support from a crew of folks who've already done it. In fact, someone sent you here today. They can be your assistant. They can be your guide to helping you start and get off the ground quickly. But the window is absolutely closing. And this isn't a high pressure sales pitch, guys. I am not that person. I'm here to deliver the truth of how this system is built and let you know that every 100 nodes triggers a price increase. There's no discounts, no exceptions, no going back. We don't need scarcity tactics when the infrastructure itself creates the urgency. If you're still here and you're still curious, this is your cue. Don't wait for perfect. Move while the door is still open. And I want you to get back to the person who shared this with you, who invited you to this call today, and get started. I know when I first got exposed to this by my friend Darren, many of you may know Darren, it was one of those drink from a water hose experiences because I felt like I didn't know a whole lot about this space, like, oh my gosh. But the thing that I did know, and because a part of this is just my history of being able to see the next big thing, was that this is the next big thing. So that's the first thing you have to acknowledge, that this is the next big thing. This is the next big wave, and you want to be a part of it. And the next step you have to decide, or the next decision you have to make is, where do you want to plug in? Do you want to use the platform that we're on right now? That's one way. Get rewarded for doing it. Do you want to own a node and be a part of the infrastructure and owning a piece and getting rewarded for doing that? Or do you just want to be a token owner, and as the value of the platform goes up, so will the tokens themselves. So you just have to figure out what decision you want to make today. But I want you to get back to the person who shared this with you and say, oh my gosh, I'm so in. That's what I want you to tell them, okay? Tell them Kim sent you. All right, guys, hopefully you've gotten a lot of value out of today's presentation. You're in like Flynn. And if you still have questions, please get back to the person who shared it with you, and they will absolutely assist you and helping you make the best decision for you and ultimately get you set up. And we do have another session later today. We have an AMA. It's Ask Us Anything. It's going to be at 4 o'clock right here in this same room. So if you are like, okay, this sounds great, but I have some more questions, join us for that. We'd be happy to entertain any questions you have. We also have one more overview today. That's going to be at 8 p.m. EST, again, right here in this room. Lori and Danny Gassamy are going to be hosting that event tonight, so don't miss out. I think the more you hear all this goodness, the more you're going to say, I absolutely am all in. And if you already are in, please, 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 guys, realize that these calls, these overviews are for you to be able to invite your people to these calls so that you don't have to share all of this. Because if you're like me, when I started, I did not feel comfortable trying to explain this to people. I was like, I can't tell people about this. I don't even know. So what I would do is I would just get Tony and Darren on the call, right? I'm like, guys, I'm not comfortable yet with this. You're going to have to talk to my people. But we're here to help you to share and ultimately build this community out and change lives. So y'all come, bring your folks, anybody that you care about. If you have people that you care about, and we all do, then you better be getting them to these calls, because this is a life-changing opportunity for people. And if you haven't invited the people you care about, Well, I don't want to shame you. That's not my intent, but you need to pick up the phone, call them, and get them all these calls. All right. All right. Well, guys, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. God bless. And we'll see you at 4 p.m. EST today if you decide to join us. And you guys, again, have a great one. Take care and God bless.